All right, guys, welcome back to the channel here. We're ready to do another one of our season previews for the 2024 High Limit Racing Sprint Car Series season. We're going to talk today about Zeb Wise, the defending All-Star Circuit of Champions titleist, obviously driving the number 26 for Rudeen Racing, and the car is crew chiefed by Tyler Tessemaker. So we'll jump right into it. So Zeb Wise has been a full-time All-Star driver for the last 4 seasons now. It seems pretty crazy that it's been 4 years already that he's been on the All-Star Tour full-time. So in 2020, he made 43 appearances with the series, missed 4 shows, and made 39 main events. 0 wins that year, 3 top 5s, 19 top 10s, 0 laps led, and he ended up 3rd in the point standings. Now, he ended up 3rd, which sounds pretty good, but that year there wasn't very many guys that were full-time. Obviously, it was COVID year. There wasn't that many guys full-time with the All-Stars that season. Finished behind Aaron Reitzel and Corey Eliason, I think, was 2nd in points there that year. So he was 3rd in points that year. To put it in perspective, Kyle Larson was 8th in points. So there wasn't that many guys running the All-Stars in 2020. That was the year he was driving the McGee Motorsports number 11 car, which then changed in 2021. He made 45 appearances with the series and made 42 A-main events. 2 wins that year. That was his first 2 wins with the All-Stars. First 2, I think, 410 wins as well. 16 top 5 finishes, up from 3 in 2020, up from 19 to 23 top 10s, and then 143 laps led that season. Only 2 wins, though. So he led a lot of races, but was not quite able to finish the job on them. But still pretty impressive to have that many laps led with only 2 wins. That year, he ended up finishing 4th in the point standings, driving the number 10 car. I don't know who the car owner was on that one. I do think it was crew chief by Wayne Pretty, but he was not the car owner. Not sure who it was, but that was the 2nd car he'd driven in his All-Star career. 2022 now, he makes 48 appearances with the All-Stars, misses 2 shows to make 46 A-mains, another 2 victories along the way, down just slightly in the top 5 category to 14, but up another 4 to the top 10s for 27 top 10 finishes in 2022. Down to 69 laps led. Now, if you're going to go down in laps, at least it was a good number, 69. And he goes down to 5th in points that year as well. A couple more guys were racing with the All-Stars in 2022, therefore pushing Zeb Wise, relatively still new to 410 racing, to 5th in points. That year, he actually split almost directly in half the season in that number 10 car, and then he took over the wheel from Corey Eliason for the Rudeen 26 car. So right about the halfway point is when that switch happened, and could maybe attest to the 5th place run in points, the less laps, the less top 5s, a new car. That could potentially be what the issue was there. Now in 2023, as you could already probably have seen, a lot of green on the board here for this season. 43 appearances with the series, missed 2 shows for 41 A-mains, 9 wins in 2023 just with the All-Stars, 24 top 5s, which jumps up from his previous best of 16, and then 35 top 10 finishes. Pretty darn good. He only missed the top 10 in 6 main events that he had started, so that's pretty darn good. 218 laps led along the way, which makes sense with the 9 wins, and obviously he was able to take down the championship in 2023. Now remember, there was quite a few injuries and whatnot, and some crazy driver swaps and things happened. Sorry, my phone fell over. So, yeah, he ends up winning the championship that year after quite a few guys had some incidents. Tyler Courtney, his closest championship rival, got in that wreck at Eldora, and he was hurt for a while. I think it was at Eldora. If it wasn't, I might be wrong on that, but he got hurt and was out of the seat for a really long time and allowed Zeb to pull away in that championship, maybe get a couple more wins than he maybe would have if he wouldn't have if Sunshine was in the field. So, overall, a phenomenal year in 2023 for Zeb Wise. Now, some more in-depth stats here over the last 3 seasons. 2021, his plus-minus in the features was minus 37. So he was going backwards more than he was forwards when it came to the A-main. Qualifying average of 9.8. He had 28 dash appearances in 2021 and 11 B-main appearances in 2021 as well. Now, 2022, a couple of these numbers do get better. Instead of losing 37 positions in 2022, he only loses 23 in the feature overall throughout the what would have been the 48 race schedule. But look at his qualifying average, down to 12.2, almost goes down 3 positions in qualifying average. And you can see that that directly affected his dash appearances, only 18 dash appearances in 2022 compared to 28 the year previous. But he does go down in B-main appearances, just down to 8 B-mains for Zeb Wise in 2022. Last year, the year that just happened, I should say, the plus-minus category gets very, very good, plus 33, so he's passing a lot of cars in the features. And what's crazy is his qualifying average was the best it's ever been at 7.7, better than 9.8 he had in 2021. So not only is he passing more cars in the feature, but he's qualifying better, and he makes the most dashes he's ever made with 30, and the least amount of B mains he's ever been in at 4. So 2023 all across the board was a really good year for Zeb Wise. Now, if we look over here at the left, or I guess it'd be the right side of the board for me, left side of the board for you guys, big wins for him in his career. Ohio Sprint Week win with the All-Stars at Fremont in 2022. Obviously got that big Outlaw win this year at Port Royal. Another All-Star Ohio Sprint Week win at Attica in 2023. 4-crown win this year at Eldora. And the Rudeen Race at Kokomo in 2021, which I believe was his first ever All-Star win. He does have 13 career All-Star victories, but the ones that I listed on that, I feel like are maybe the bigger ones of those 13, including that World of Outlaws win. So he's definitely been winning a lot here over the last couple of years. Now, let's take a look at the strengths and weaknesses for this driver and this team. Now, the strengths, Zeb Wise has won a lot of races, or at a lot of tracks that High Limit is going to this year, including Outlaw Speedway, Kokomo, Eldora, and Port Royal. Now, another thing that is, obviously really good is he appears to be at the top of his game right now. Looking at these numbers, you can see a slow progression from 2020 all the way to 2023. All of his numbers, with a few hiccups here and there, are getting better and better. Will that continue into 2024 is the question. Now, if it does, he's going to be looking really good. The other thing, and it's kind of hard to read right here, but I feel like he is extremely good when the track gets slick. When it's slick, that is when that 26 car, that is when Zeb Wise really is at his peak. And so if you get a slick track somewhere along the way this year with High Limit, which we're going to get plenty of them, then that could really play into the hand of Zeb Wise. Now, the weakness portion, and this is a really, really important part of this entire board here. Over the last 4 years, he has not been competing against the best drivers in the country on a weekly basis, I should say. Obviously, he's been to the Knoxville Nationals, he's been to the Kings Royal, he's ran some big races at Williams Grove, blah, 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 but he hasn't been racing the best drivers. Now, everybody on Facebook likes to say that the All-Stars are better than the Outlaws here in the last 4 years, right? If you look on Facebook, everybody says the All-Stars are better. That's just bananas. That's just not true. It's not even close. And the stats will prove that to you, right? He has not been racing against the best drivers. And I think he'd even tell you that, right? So how will that affect him having a guy like Brad Sweet, a guy like Brico, a guy like Brent Marks, these guys racing with him on a weekly basis for 60 races? How's he going to do that, right? Like, how's that going to work out for him? Because, in 2023, I would be willing to bet there was maybe 3 guys on a nightly basis with the All-Stars that were really in contention to win. With High Limit this year, there's going to be 5 or 6 or 7 guys that are able to win every single night. Now, that could definitely affect him. Now, with that all in mind, if you look at this stat here, in 43 appearances with the World of Outlaws, Zeb Wise only has 23 A-main events. So almost half the time he races with the Outlaws, he's not making the show, right? But I think with these numbers improving and things like that, if he were to go and run with the Outlaws a lot next year, I think that number would dramatically change, right? I think he'd be in the show a lot more than what this number shows here. But he's only ran 23 A-main events with the World of Outlaws. And the Outlaws, up until in 2024, really the All-Stars paled in comparison, right, as far as the competition goes. But High Limit has put together a really, really good roster that is going to be tough to race against every single night. Now, SprintCarRatings.com has Zeb Wise at 19th over the last 2 years in sprint car racing, meaning that according to their computer-generated system with results, money won, top 5s, top 10s, amount of races ran, and finishing results, right, he has been the 19th best driver over the last 2 years. With that in mind, there is about 4 or 5 guys ahead of him on that list that are racing with High Limit in 2024. And so that leads me to my next thing, which is the prediction. What do I think Zeb Wise is going to do with High Limit in 2024? I think he's going to get between 3 to 5 wins, but I've got this arrow pointing back to the weakness, right? You've got to keep in mind that he's never raced against this stiff of competition all the time. How will that affect him? I'm not really sure, but I think he's still going to be around 6th or 7th in points right now with having all those other good cars in the mix all year long, right? So 6th or 7th in points is kind of what I'm thinking. He's going to miss out on a charter position, not going to be in contention for a championship, but in 2025, I think it's going to be absolutely a no-brainer write it down right now that he will be in a charter position for 2025 and then get that charter in 2026 with High Limit, as long as he stays on the High Limit Tour, obviously. So that's just some of the stats and some of the things to look at here with Zeb Wise, a more in-depth look, and what we could potentially see here for him in that Rudeen 26 car with High Limit Racing coming up next season. Let me know what your predictions are for him. How many wins does he get? Where does he end up in the championship? How do you think Zeb Wise will do next season with High Limit Racing? Let me know in the comment section down below.